Welcome everybody back for another Velocity Motorsports playoff race number 5 is tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We've got guys going through practice right now. I've got the standings for the 8 guys that are competing in the playoffs. 4 will be moving on after tonight's race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's a very, very close battle for pretty much third on down because Nate Mon is not going to be here tonight. So that pretty much drops him out of the top 4, which means there's an open spot. So, and even then, third and second are not separated that much by fifth. So we could look at least 2 or 3 spots being swapped up before this race is over. We've got about 13 drivers on the track as of right now. I'll bring up the standings here in just a second. There we go. Ryan Crooks is out front by a good margin. He's pretty much locked himself into the next round of the final round at Iowa. Jovi Ray is not completely safe, but still a little bit more secure than the rest of the guys. And as I said, Nate Mon is not here tonight, so that opens up third spot. Chris Murphy would move up into that third spot. Nate Mon would drop out of the top 4. That means that Chris Murphy, who is up by 3 points over Wesley Jeanette, needs to have a good race tonight to stay in that top 4. But for the rest of the drivers in the top 8, that means they have to have pretty much a perfect race and collect as many points as possible with getting the pole award, leading a lap, having the fastest lap, and winning a race would definitely promote and push those guys up in there. So there's 2 spots that are going to be pretty much easy for swapping back and forth tonight. Chris Murphy has to stay in it tonight. And like I said, Jovi Ray, he's kind of secure, but not. He's only a few points out in front of Chris Murphy, who would move up into that third slot. But we'll see what happens tonight with the standings. It's going to be tough for these guys to really, get in there and stay with a smaller field tonight, not the large one. I'll bring up Shad here in just a minute. He's out on track right now running some practice laps to try to figure out how the track's feeling tonight. I do know that stage break will be right at 55 tonight. Track temp is at 77, so not a hot night here in Charlotte Motor Speedway. Relative humidity is about 30%, 8-mile-an-hour wind out of the north. So kind of pushing down the front straightaway a little bit there. We'll talk to Shad whenever he gets up here after running some practice laps. I'll bring up now. Shad, you got a copy? We're trying to figure out here, how's the track feeling since you are our resident driver out there, kind of the Jeff Burton in the broadcast booth, going out on track and running some laps?
Track's pretty good. First lap, you're a little loose on the exits. Second lap, the car feels amazing. And then it kind of just starts to build tight. The more you run laps, if you're driving it like a maniac. But other than that, yeah, it feels amazing. I don't know really what it is in traffic. I haven't really been able to get with a pack of guys yet, but really tonight, I don't see where the drivers should have any struggles besides maybe the first lap just taking it easy on exits. Like you're muted, Kurt.
Yeah, there's 135 laps tonight, Chad, with 3 green-white checkers as always. Stage break is going to be right at 55. 4 sets of tires tonight with 65% fuel. What does it look like to you as a fuel strategy to run through this race if they have 4 sets of tires and 135 laps of the race with probably, 25, 28 laps, I would think, for fuel?
No, you can get like 44, 45 laps on fuel. Tires though, tires are gonna be huge. You get 5 with the ones you set on, so I mean, it's gonna be how you break it up. If you use 2 sets, one during that first stage because you're not gonna be able to make it to 50. Then the question is, do you use them when you pit during that stage, or do you wait until the stage break and then put on fresh tires instead of burning a set for only probably 5 laps? Um, Something I would probably do is just come in, top off, go do those 5 laps, save that set. Then when the stage break ends, come in, put those tires on, top it back off with fuel, and that would leave you with 3 sets for what 80 laps. So 2 set or yeah, 1 set would get you to the end. You'd have 2 backup sets in case this thing does get riddled with some cautions. I think laps, once you get about that 10 lap mark on those tires, I think fresh tires start to prevail. Maybe not by a ton, but a couple tenths probably after probably 15 laps. So if we get a 30 lap run and you choose not to take tires and somebody does, I think that could be the winning move.
Normally, when I would run Charlotte, I would kind of hold off at the beginning for the first 10, maybe 11 laps, and then have those tires later on. Is that what you kind of feel like is the winning, strategy? Or, I mean, I've seen some races where some guys go balls to the wall right off the bat, and they go out and get a big lead, and then they're able to pit and then continue on, uh, leading the race to a stage or to the end of the race for the win. What is your normal strategy here in Charlotte, and what do you think these guys should be doing tonight?
I think if you're going to be one of those guys that goes out here and lays down qualifying laps to start this race, at about 15, 20 laps into the run, if it stays green, you're going to find yourself starting to fall back. I know everyone thinks, oh, Charlotte, it's easy to get around here. It is to a standpoint, but tires still matter. It doesn't matter where you go besides the super speedways. Tires matter. And, towards the end of a run, if it's 40 laps, towards the end of a run, you could be making up, 7 tenths or a half a second on a guy who goes out there and burns his stuff up. So to me, I always go out, run a pace that I know is a good pace for saving tires. Probably tonight, somewhere, if you start the race and you're running like a 30.3 or a 30.4 and just try to maintain that through the run, I think that's a pretty good speed based on what I was feeling out there as far as saving tires.
All right. Well, as I said, this is the playoff race number 5. It's the last race before we go to the finals. Shab, we've got standings are super tight for basically second on down. Ryan Crooks is obviously out with a pretty good lead of 23 points over second place. He could pretty much finish this race and be fine as long as he, starts and he's in the field tonight. So Jovi Ray is sitting there in second, but only about 8 points up in front of Nate Mon, who is not going to be here tonight. So that opens the door for one slot for sure. Chris Murphy would move up into that third slot as of right now with Nate Mon missing. That moves Wesley Jeanette up into fourth. But between Chris Murphy and Tyler Belanger, there's only 8 points separating Chris Murphy, Wesley Jeanette, Cole Martin, Jose Ruiz, and Tyler Belanger. To me, any one of those guys could get to third or fourth. So 2 guys could move up in there and swap out. But, I mean, do you think, Shad, we're going to sit here with Ryan Crooks, Jovi Ray, and Chris Murphy, and Wesley Jeanette as the final 4 moving on tonight? Or do you see Cole Martin, Jose Ruiz, Tyler Belanger maybe jumping up in here and maybe bumping Chris Murphy out if he has a bad night? Or, bumping up into that 4th slot if Chris Murphy does have a decent night and stays in the top 4?
I mean, it's hard to say. With the points being so close from second to eighth, anyone, has a bad night, doesn't get stage points, has a bad finish, you can fall from second clear back to eighth right now, and you can jump from eighth clear, up to second place. The only one that's really sitting good right now is Ryan Crooks because of the lead he has. Other than that, no one tonight can really play it safe. If you want to move on, go out there tonight, get top 5 stage points, finish top 5. I guarantee you're going to move on. If you don't do that, I guarantee you're going to be sweating at the end of this race.
Well, Shad, we do have the return of Nick Gowan into the field as well, and he seems to be very fast in practice, which means, Nick can go up there and steal 10 points from any one of these playoff drivers in the first stage, and he could steal the win, and he could steal the pole away. So that takes away a lot of points that these guys in the playoffs could be chasing tonight to get those. So Nick is always very fast at Charlotte. Ryan Crooks very fast at Charlotte. Cole Martin usually very fast at Charlotte as well. Chris is usually right there, nipping on, I would say, these guys' heels, being really fast at Charlotte. Tyler Belanger is sitting up in the top five in the standings right now in practice. He said he's not super comfortable with Charlotte, so I'm not sure where he's going to be at tonight. But Nate Mon, obviously not here tonight. And then Jose Ruiz, that silent assassin that somehow always finishes in the top 8, top 7 to every single thing. He's right now outside the top 4. He is your regular season points champion by 1 point over Ryan Crooks, and he's not in the top 4 to move on right now as of the start of this race. So he's got to have a good night. Got to probably hope that a couple others have some bad nights. But anything can happen on this track here. You know, anybody could get loose coming out of 4. If you're too high coming out of the corner, it'll push you to the wall. You could get loose. There's the bump on the apron coming out of the pits that you could get loose on if you're trying to hurry through there on a green flag stop. Or just a regular, oops, I got loose thing that happens all the time coming out of turn 2. So there are so many different variables to this race. I'd like to bring up a couple different drivers before we kick this thing off here. At least talk to some of the playoff drivers and see how they're feeling about tonight's race. I'll bring up our resident owner, who is down in 8th place in the points. Tyler, you got a copy of this? Is Shad and Swat's in the booth?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right, Tyler, we're trying to talk to a couple different playoff drivers just to get a feeling on how you guys are doing. I know I spoke to you a little bit there off air. You said you weren't super comfortable with Charlotte, but you're sitting in the top 5, top 6 in practice right now for speed. How are you looking at tonight's race with being you're not in the top 4? I still think you have a chance. I know you're a little bit Debbie Downer when we were talking offline saying you didn't think you had a chance, but I mean the field is really stacked with guys in the playoffs that are you guys are all so close in skill, so close in speed. Do you have a shot realistically in your mind?
I mean, theoretically, I have a shot. Yeah, I know it comes off as a Debbie Downer, but just the way last week ended, running top 5 most of the day, and I was battling there for 6 coming to the white flag, and just got the guy in front of me got real squirrely, thought he was going to come up across my nose, and I reacted a little bit, and just that little bit on the exit into Hampshire is enough to mess you up, and ended up going from what could have been 6th to 15th. So if it wasn't for that, I'd be 3rd, 4th in points right now and feeling a lot better. But I don't know. It's 7 points. I know it sounds easy, but that's a lot of points to overcome with a smaller field. I anticipate every one of these guys is going to get stage points tonight. And that hasn't been my strong suit this year. I normally can eke out a better finish at the end of the race than I can stage points. So I'm not feeling great, but like I said last week in the interview, 8th place is about where I thought I'd be stacked up against these guys. So, it is what it is. If that's where I end up finishing, that's where I end up finishing. It's no hard feelings to anybody. Just going to go out there, do our best. Was not bad in practice, but I don't have a good feel for the long run here. I didn't really get many long laps in, more than 10 laps in practice. So we'll have to just kind of see. I anticipate a lot of green flag racing tonight. Pit exit is going to be very tricky based off of how I felt coming off of it. Very easy to slide up onto the track and get a penalty. So if we get some green flag stops, that could really shake some things up. But we're just going to go out there and do what we've done all season and try our best and see where it falls. But I'd be surprised if we were able to squeeze in after the result that we had last week.
Well, I know Shad's probably going to use the word, but I'm going to go ahead and steal it from him. Tires.
Yeah.
that is the determining factor for a lot of different people at Charlotte. Keeping that early pace of not really burning on your stuff off, waiting for the longer run to then kick in about 15 laps in, somewhere around there, and then start picking people off after they've gone out, balls to the wall and stretched out and burned off their tires. So, Shad, got any last advice? Our resident Larry McReynolds here for Tyler Belanger.
Well, I'm just kidding. Yeah, the biggest thing with saving tires here is the hump going into turn 1. Let off before it. Probably about the red stripe on the wall. If you let off there, let it roll quite a while before you get back on the throttle. Turn 3. There's a white stripe going into turn 3 that goes across the track. If you let off about 20 feet in front of that and let it roll, that's the keys to saving tires.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Like I said, we're going to do our best, and whatever happens, happens.
All right, Tyler. Well, we'll look for that 88 on track and look for you in the final three or final four if you can make it. And good luck, and we'll see what happens here.
Thanks, man.
All right, you want me to send you down to general chat, or you want back in the Ghost Rider one where you were at?
General chat's good. Thank you.
General. All right, let's bring up another driver here. I'm looking to see who's out on track and who's already run their laps. And it looks like I don't see very many playoff drivers that have laid down a lap yet. I'll wait here just a minute and see if we can get another couple playoff drivers done. But Shad, this is going to be a tough one for guys. I feel like guys are going to be sweating the bullet here when we get to the end of the stage at lap 55. And then I think it's going to become a do or die situation at the end of the race. We've seen, a couple years ago, I think it was at Richmond or Martinsville or somewhere like that, where Kevin Harvick was out by 1 point and needed to go up and wreck Kyle Busch to make it to the next round. He spun him, but wrecked himself, and Kyle was able to do I think about a 720 on the track spinning, and was able to get going back straight and finished in front of Kevin Harvick, so Kevin was out of the playoffs. But I feel like if it comes down to the nitty gritty, Chad, I mean, if you're 1 point out, if you think you're 1 point out, do you give a bump? Do you give an extra shove going into the corner, run them a little deeper into the corner, something like that to get them off the line to try to make the move?
Oh, if you're 1 point out, you Ross Chastain it in any way you can.
I don't think the Ross Chastain thing is going to work here. So would you Denny Hamlin him into the corner at Pocono?
If you're 1 point out and the guy in front of you is whether or not you get in, oh yeah, you Denny Hamlin him, even though Denny Hamlin supposedly didn't touch him.
Yeah, swears he didn't touch him.
Yeah. Yeah, you do whatever you can. I mean, you're going to have to be good at math once the stage break ends and kind of calculate where you're at or who in front of you, where they scored, and try to guess, where you need or what position you need to move on. But like I said, if you want to move on and you want to give yourself the best shot, finish top 5 in the stage, top 5 at the end of the night, and you should have a pretty good chance.
All right, well, we'll grab, let's see, Ryan Crooks just finished his, and I believe he went to the top of the board, so we'll try to grab Ryan real quick if we can find him. And I don't see him on the list, so, try to find another one. Looks like Wesley Jeanette has completed his. And I don't see any of the Field Up Motorsport guys in the Discord. Looks like Chris Murphy has completed his. Chris, you got a copy of this Swats and Shad in the booth.
I gotcha.
All right, Chris, you're sitting what would be third in the points with Nate Mon missing tonight. How important is it for you to get some stage points? You were one of the lowest stage point drivers this season to make it into the playoffs. Is it do or die time to get some playoff points and then have that quality finish, or are you still going to run it the way you've been running it with trying to get stage points and just having the decent finish?
Well, the plan has always been to get the stage points. It just never works out that way. I'm usually trying to recover from a wreck or something, and I usually miss out on them. Or like what I did tonight, which was just a poor qualifying attempt. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try to get as many stage points as possible. I think I'm still playing with fire because there's some really strong drivers behind me in the points that I know they're going to usually finish really up there in the stage. So I'm going to do my best to get as many points as I can there, and then hopefully it comes down to like a pit strategy or something. I usually can do a pretty good pit strategy there to snake a good finish.
Shad, any last advice for your good buddy here?
Save those tires. I mean,
tires.
I know everyone thinks Charlotte's so easy, but if this thing comes down to a long run, tires are going to be key. I mean, you can't make it to the end of the stage without pitting unless you start shutting off right off the start. I think you're going to have to save about 5-6 laps.
Well, stage is at 55, so.
Oh, I thought it was a 50. Oh yeah,
I
you
said
ain't making that.
55, so you'd
Yeah,
have to
you ain't
save a
making
lot.
Play it safe, in my opinion, Chris. I mean, if someone wants to dive bomb you, let them go. Save that fast repair for the end.
All right,
That
Chris.
sounds good.
We'll send you back down to Ghost Rider Motorsports so you can be with your teammates. Good luck, and we'll see if you can make it into the Final Four for the second season in a row and go for that second title in a row.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Good luck. All right, we're going to throw it in the national anthem and be right back for the start of this gridding process.
Yada yada yada.
Glad you're here, John. Hope you're feeling okay, buddy.
I appreciate it, Johnny. Yeah, I feel a little dizzy, but the fall set off some pretty crazy vertigo. But I'm sitting still. I'm okay.
My question is, was you able to eat that Culver's?
No, sir. They wouldn't let me. At the ER.
Well, that makes a bad situation worse. No, it's good to have you. Good to have you in here, buddy. Glad you're feeling a little better.
That's what it sounded like.
All right. Well, hopefully now we can hear each other. All right, so it looks like we're back up and running. I can see the thing moving, so hopefully that means everybody can hear us out there. But Ryan Crook's going to start us off. Shad's on the front row with Cole Martin to his outside. Cole Martin needing some big points tonight. 43 Sam Harrell's going to roll off in third with Wesley Jeanette fourth. Tyler Belanger fifth. Jose Ruiz sixth. Johnny D seventh. Sean Walton 10th or 8th. And Brandon Watkins 9th. Chris Murphy 10th. Austin Walton 11th. John Osborne 12th. Nick Gowan 13th. Jovi Ray 14th. Papa Bear 15th. Jake Rowell 16th. Into the restart zone we go, Shad. That green flag's going to be waving any second. We'll get this race kicked off for the last round. Oh, spinning.
And
Woo.
Ryan Crooks decides to start in first gear, and it
Not
does
a
not
good
pay
start
off
for
on
him.
spins the tires, and gets passed by about 7 cars, and, quickly drops out of the lead. Weston Jeanette, though, going to take full advantage of it, and he's going to lead lap 1 right now, currently over Cole Martin. Cole Martin didn't get the greatest jump as well, and Jose Ruiz, big mover so far, going to jump all the way up into P3. So, that's right there why I do not like starting in first gear on cold tires. Just he spun them, and it backed up that entire inside line.
Yeah, and he drops all the way to 7th place on the first lap. That is not a good start to your current points leader in the playoffs. Ryan Crooks dropping from 1st all the way to 7th to start this race, Shad. Wesley Jeanette having a good start to the race with Cole Martin, Jose Ruiz, 3 playoff drivers, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Sammy Harrell making his return to Velocity Motorsports. Going to be sitting 4th right now. Sean Walton in 5th in that 10 car. Tyler Belanger still sitting in 6th. Then Ryan Crooks, Chris Murphy moved up +2 to 8th right now. Johnny D slipping down 2 to 9th. Brandon Watkins slipping 1 to 10th. But I'm looking at playoff driver, Shad, and Jovi Ray starting at the back of this field is surprising again on why he's not able to put down decent qualifying times. He starts at the back all the time. I mean, it does work for him, so it's not like he's not doing everything he can to get the points. He usually gets good stage points. He's had good finishes. It's crazy to me. Maybe he just enjoys coming from the back. He learns a lot coming through the field.
Oh, we got a wreck going into turn 1. The 10 of Sean Walton and the 88 of
Belanger.
Tyler B.
Not a good start for Tyler B, who needs a good points night here to get going as well. We'll back this up and look at it here. Let's back it on up, and we'll take a look at see what happened to the 88 and the 10.
Tyler B's not going to like my answer.
Well, we're looking at it right now. Tyler B going into the corner. Coming around behind the 10. Looks like he's underneath the 10 as they go through the start stripe. Still underneath, and I think he Denny Hamlined him. Just crowded him up with the track and gave him no room and put the 10 right in the wall.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that Denny Hamlin. He just misjudged it. You want to try to get a good arc going into turn 1, so you can, make that pass. And I think he just misjudged it and didn't leave enough room. And, his right rear and Sean's left front touched, and it hooked them both into the wall. And I don't see a whole lot of damage, though, on Tyler B's car. Not sure how the steering wheel is. Sean Walton as well, not a ton of damage. Don't know if they need to use that fast repair right now, but not a great start for a guy that's sitting outside the cut line right now.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot of damage either. They probably both have scrapes down the side, but not too much damage. The wheels look like they're pretty straight to me. Going inside the cockpit, doesn't look like his wheel is turned a whole lot there, but I'm sure he knows how that car feels. Hopefully he turned off his fast repair and he'll get back out on the track here. But yeah, that's opening 6 laps for our first caution. Does this mean that now they can make it to the end of the stage, or is it close enough for them to make it?
No, they would have to start saving immediately, and I'm talking some serious saving. We're going to go back green probably lap 8, which gives us about 47 till the stage break. I think you can do about 44. If you save, you just gotta save 3 laps. So it's
Yes.
doable, but you are gonna lose a ton of time doing it. Charlotte's a track where you're not off the throttle, a whole lot. And if you're in the back, yeah, you can save a little bit being in the draft, but 3 laps, Kurt, that's a lot of fuel to save.
Well, let's go and talk, if we can, to any of the drivers in the top spots, and I don't see any of the Fueled Up Motorsports guys, so I can't talk to the leader, Wesley Jeanette. Looking for Cole Martin now. Cole, you got a copy of this Watson chat in the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, bud. You have a good starting position on the second spot there to Wesley Jeanette and Ryan Crooks. Ryan Crooks spinning the tires to start this race. How is the car feeling, and what's your goal tonight as you're sitting just outside the top 4 in the the transfer spot?
Well, I see it as I gotta beat Wesley and Chris Murphy straight up. So I'm trying to get ahead of them on the stage, and I think on this track you gotta save your crap like crazy. I mean, it's just really tight. So I did a long run in practice, and I felt pretty good about it. So hopefully, I'm just gonna bide my time, and hopefully he'll come back to me here.
Well, Cole, it looked like on those few opening laps that we did there, to me, it looked like you were running a pretty solid pace for saving those tires. Wesley there, he ran a 30.2. That's kind of burning him up a little bit. But, we got about 47 laps when we go back green. How's the fuel strategy? You think you can make it to the end, or are you going to have to split this in half?
I think we'll have to split it in half. We'll have to definitely stop before the stage. I know that, and then after the stage, I'll figure out then what I'm gonna do. I think, yeah, splitting in half is gonna probably have to be the call.
All right, Cole. We'll send you back down to your teammates there. You were down in
WMS.
WMS, and we'll see if you make it into the final 4 transfer spots into the final race of the season, championship week next week.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, good luck, bud.
Thank you.
All right, Chad, we're back ready to go here. Wesley Jeanette is out front in the 74. I cannot talk to him because he's not in the Discord, but looking pretty good. I mean, he is running a little faster pace than I would think to run off the start, but he's got the lead. He's got the fresh air. Fresh air is usually king. Ryan Crooks, though, somehow made it all the way back up to 4th, so I think he's a little bit on a vengeance there.
There was a lot of drivers that came down multiple times, topped off. I think they're going to try to stretch it. Like I said, you only got to save about 3 laps. It's doable, but I'm just curious how much time are you going to lose. But they are back there in the draft, so that will allow them the opportunity to be able to save, more and not lose as much speed being in the draft. But
could they be anticipating another caution?
I mean, I don't bank on cautions.
Well,
so.
I mean, but if you're anticipating one, I mean,
I don't know what they're thinking, but I don't plan on cautions.
Well, we're back into the restart zone. Wesley Jeanette going to get on the gas first, gets through the pedals, through the shifts, and goes across the start stripe into turn 1. Cole Martin down low. Ryan Crooks on the outside of him. Cole didn't get that great of a start, it looks like. Or Ryan just timed it perfectly. Jose on the bottom line being challenged by the 44. Brandon Watkins, who was outside in that Aaron's paint scheme, goes by the 23. Johnny D sitting here in 6th place with Austin Walton trailing him. And then Sean Walton sitting behind Austin in the 8th spot. Jovi Ray up to 9th, Chad, starting at the back of the field, up +5. Nick Gowan trailing him as well as they're starting towards the back of the field.
Yeah, no, Kurt, we heard Cole Martin say about splitting, this stage in half, which allows you to go out here and burn those tires up if you plan on taking tires. If you're just planning on coming in and topping off of fuel to get to the end of the stage, you don't want to burn them up. So it's going to be curious to see, who's out here really pushing it. As last time by, Wesley Jeanette ran a 32.3. Let's see what it is this time on full lap of speed. Comes across as a 31, Kurt. So that's dang near qualifying lap speed that our leader right now is running, so he is definitely not saving tires. And everyone behind him in that draft can sit there, let off early, and save those tires a little bit. But him out front right now running that kind of pace, Kurt, is not going to bode well for those tires here in the next 15 to 20 laps.
Well, Field of Motorsports teams were never really, fuel savers or tire savers. They really had the speed, and he certainly has the speed tonight. I think you're right. He might be going off a little hard, but I mean, if he's planning on splitting it anyways, I mean, throw on 4 new tires and go out there and burn them out again. The only problem is we only have 4 extra sets of tires tonight.
Yeah, you got 5 with, and that counts the ones they started this race on. So 4 tire sets. If you split this in half and then one stop the last bit of this race, which you can do on fuel, it shouldn't be any kind of issue there. You still have 2 sets. But we also know that when this gets down to the end, the guys are really pushing it. Cautions can come out, and the tires will matter. So, I don't know. Well, he'd actually have 1 set because he'd burn up this set, pit, use that set, probably pit at the end of the stage break as well, use another set. So that's 3 sets in this opening 55 laps that he could possibly use here, Kurt, which would only give him 2 sets to finish the race. We know he would definitely need 1 to get to the end and only have 1 backup after that.
It sounds pretty sketchy to me. I don't know if I would do that, but we'll see what happens. These guys, they usually know what they're doing. So Wesley Jeanette does have that 1 win this season at the road course. We'll see if he can come away with his first oval win of the season.
Yeah, you see the gap that he's starting to form over 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah, they kind of look like they're sitting back there just waiting.
Yeah, and Wesley, he's still out there running 30.1, so he is burning that set up, which means he's going to have to get a set when he comes in and splits this. Then it's just whether or not he saves that set enough and has to, whether he gets a set at the end of the stage break or not. I don't know. That's burning up 3 sets in the first 55 laps.
If he doesn't get tires at the end of the stage and he has to go until we have green flag stops, I would think he would be off pace. But if he's trying to get the stage points, Chad, I mean, it's not a terrible idea if he's trying to go for the bonus points in the stage and then he's not worried about pitting at the end of the stage. I mean...
Yeah, well, the thing is, he's running, yes, fast laps, but here in the next probably 8-10 laps, they're going to start catching him. And, does he pit then? Or does he build this lead and then pit? Because if you pit right now, you can make it to the end of the stage. But you're also going to be probably a lap down and hoping, no caution comes out and this cycles through. But I just don't know, Kurt. I don't, they pulled a 10th back on him just that last lap. His tires could already start to feel the effects.
Well, I'm looking through the rest of the field here, and we've got guys kind of riddled all over the place. If you see the neon green next to drivers' names on the ticker going across the screen or on the tower window, that is our playoff drivers. But right now, Shad, looking at the top 10, we've only got 5 playoff drivers in the top 10.
Yeah, there's some, pretty good fuel strategy going on with, guys trying to save and make this without having to pit again. And, guys kind of way back there, John Osborne, Papa Bear Campbell, they're coming
way
up on
pace.
about a half a track back. So not sure what's going on there, but we're starting to get quite a few different packs, Kurt. There's a pack with Chris Murphy and Tyler Belanger. I think they're on the fuel strategy. But West Jeanette, Kurt, still out there running 30.2s. He could split this stage here. The next 5 to 7 laps will be about the halfway mark of this stage.
Well, I think the audio was messed up earlier, but I want to thank Milliford120 for coming into the chat. First time chatter there, saying he loved when he joined the streams and the first time, and this is what was playing, referencing the national anthem that was playing. I definitely love that I've got that video clip for the national anthem to be able to play it. Definitely thank you to Repeat and a few others that created that thing up in a long time ago for a big Xbox tournament is what it was. Leagues versus leagues. I think there was like 35 leagues or something like that when we were back in NNR when we used that whole national anthem clip. So definitely appreciate that thing being made, and I love having it for every race. But I'm looking through the field, Chad, and I'm kind of worried here. Nick Gowan, I expected to be at the front. He was one of the fastest cars in the practice. Did not come out and lay down a qualifying lap. Started at the back of the field. Came up through the field a little bit there before that caution came out, and now he's sitting back here in 13th, just riding behind Tyler Belanger and Chris Murphy. He's not here for a points thing, so I wonder if his pit strategies, is just fuel saving, but he's not going for stage points. They don't matter to him, so I don't know what his strategies be, or if maybe he's just off pace.
He could just be practicing for a different league on how to save fuel, because he definitely has the pace, to be running in the top 5 for sure. So I'm not sure what he's doing. Yeah, so maybe he's trying to make it to the end.
We'll go inside Nick Gowan's car right now to see if he is shutting off. It sounded like it was awfully quiet when he went by. Oh yeah, he's definitely shutting it off. So he's for sure clutching it. And he is trying to make it to the end of the stage, which is surprising because the points don't matter to him. So he's just taking him away from playoff drivers, and one of his teammates being, Jovi Ray and Cole Martin. Cole really needs those stage points, so he's up here in 3rd right now. But if his pit strategy works out and he steals the top spot away, it takes 10 points away from a playoff driver. But Nick should have been, if he'd have been able to make it, he wasn't able to make it in due to work and outside racing stuff. But if he was able to be here, Chad, I feel like Nick would have been right up here with Ryan Crooks contending for this thing.
Well, speaking of contending, Kurt, we just had a pass for the lead. Ryan Crooks and Cole Martin reeled West Jeanette back in. And so far, Ryan Crooks has passed West Jeanette for first place. Cole Martin right there on the bumper, looking now to the inside of that 74. He's going to try to take P2 away. West Jeanette's tires, Kurt, they're already coming back to play. And that's what I was talking about. He went out there laying, qualifying lap times, and this is the result of that. Your tires are hurting to when we could see Ryan Crooks, Cole Martin, letting him pull away because they knew that this would, they would eventually reel him back in. And it's just a matter of how far back does Wesley fall before he decides to pit and split this thing in half.
I mean, he's right around the range that you stated before, Shad, about pitting. So, I mean, if he's sitting right here on the back bumper of 2nd place, as he's actually side by side with him here as they come down the front stretch, looks like Cole might slide up in front of him before they get out of turn 1 here. But if he's right here this close to the leaders, wouldn't you pit as soon as you possibly could and try to pit before the leaders do? Because they're not really conserving fuel either to make it to the end of the stage.
Well, I mean, you could go, to lap like 45, 47 probably.
And go.
Yeah, and take a splash and go and not use a set or put tires on, baby those, and, try to get some stage points hopefully, and then not pit at the end of the stage. But if it's me, if I sat here and ran this pace, I come down and like Ryan Crooks and Cole Martin and just splash and go, not use tires, and then come down at the stage break and put 4 fresh tires on, and that way you're not burning up 3 sets in the opening 55 laps.
Well, see, Ryan doesn't really care about the stage points either because he's pretty much locked in. So I'm surprised Ryan's not out here thinking different strategy to, be in this top spot at the end of the stage, or at the beginning of the next stage. But I don't know. These guys, they
they're
throw me off on all kinds of different strategies and things like that. They throw in all kinds of theories that
and
I just never
31
think of.
Kurt coming in this time. Cole Martin pulling the trigger first on splitting the stage.
I'm surprised Wesley didn't go with him. It looks like Jose Ruiz is coming right behind Cole Martin.
Yeah, Jose gonna pit from 9th place. Now the question is, can you get out before the leader gets back around? That's going to be the big thing. Cole Martin, was about a second behind our leader when he decided to pit. It does not look like he's going to beat him out, as the two of Ryan Chris going to pass the start stripe right now, put both the 23 and the 31 on one lap down.
It's going to be interesting to see where they blend in and when Ryan pits. Because Ryan is not going to be able to make it to the end of the stage. He's going to have to pit. So I'm wondering, now that those guys were down pit road, it looks like they were down pit road long enough to throw 4 tires on and fuel. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ryan Crooks. If he comes down and just does a splash and go without tires, or if he takes rights and just splash the gas to make it to the end of the stage. Where Cole Martin and Jose Ruiz then come off. If they've got fresh tires, they're going to be out here burning them off too. Do they catch him past Ryan if he has to take that pit stop? And I'm still surprised Wesley hasn't stopped.
Ryan just lost a pretty good chunk of time right there. Got, tight coming off turn 4. Almost hit the wall. If he might have actually brushed it. It had to get out of the throttle, of course. So lost a bunch of time right there. And that's the big thing right now. We know Cole and Jose are out there on fresh tires putting down burner lap times. They have to, though, make up an entire lap right now. If this thing cycles out and Chris Murphy is able to make it to the end, as he's probably the first one on that strategy of fuel saving, they gotta, Cole Martin and Jose gotta get around him and then come all the way back around and catch him again. And they got about 20 laps to do it.
Well, looking at their lap times, they just ran a 30.4. Murphy ran a 31.0. So I don't know if they've got enough time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, half a second a lap. You're 20 laps to go. You're going to gain 10 seconds. So 10 seconds will get him back out in front of him, but 10 seconds will not get you in front of him and all the way back around to catch him a second time.
I'm going to be really watching those two to see where they come out when Ryan decides to come down pit road. Same with Wesley Jeanette when he decides. I'm really surprised Wesley Jeanette, as fast as he was going out there, he has not come down pit road yet.
Yeah, he's losing a ton of time right now to Ryan Crooks. And then, of course, with Cole Martin being out there on fresh tires, he's losing a ton of time to him as well. So not only, did he lose the lead, but he's definitely not going to get second in the stage right now if this thing does, stay green. And even if those guys on the fuel strategy, don't make it second place for the stage, is still not in the grasp of Wesley Jeanette.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of puts it in the hands of Ryan Crooks, because he's got such a large lead right now of about almost 3.5 seconds over Wesley Jeanette. Wesley has to pit, and then back to Jovi is about 4 seconds. So Jovi's going to have to wind up pitting as well. I mean, if you're Ryan and you're already out front by 4 or 5 seconds, Chad, and you can come down pit road and just take a splash and go, if you can make it out in front
Ryan's gonna do.
If he can make it out in front of Cole and Jose, then he's got the stage in hand, which allows him to kind of lock it up and kind of bracket these guys, where he's not allowing the guys in the bottom half of the final 8 to get those extra bonus points to go to the final 4.
Yeah, I think if you were going to splash and go, you should have done it already, because you were just allowing Cole to gain more and more time on you before you make that pit stop. And, you come down and put 5 seconds of fuel in it. You're still on pit road, though, for about 35 seconds, and that's a full lap. And, right now, Cole Martin, he's only about a quarter of a lap behind our leader, so it's going to be awfully close. And then him on older tires, Cole Martin could potentially catch up to Ryan Crooks, who was only a second ahead of him before Cole pit. and Cole's definitely made that up and then some with them staying out this long.
Yeah, Cole is working his way through the top 6 in the running order right now, but he's waiting for those top 6 to pit. So it just really depends. I'm looking at the lap time still. He just ran a 30.7, but he's kind of stuck in a little bit of traffic. Ryan Crooks ran a 31.1, so he's still faster than the leader. And Cole's working on Wesley Jeanette right now.
Yeah, Wesley Jeanette's tires are just gone. He's already fallen back to 4th just the way they're running now. And that's the downfall of going out there and running qualifying lap times for those first 10 to 15 laps. It catches back up to you. If you would have babied his tires for those first 10 to 15 laps, he would be in the position where Ryan Crooks is right now, still running halfway decent lap times, considering he's been out there for 42 laps, about 39 of them green.
Cole just passed second place Jovi Ray right now and is going to be coming up on Ryan Crooks to unlap himself. I feel like as soon as he unlaps himself, or as soon as he gets to Ryan, Ryan should pit. I hear Johnny D is coming down pit road.
Yeah, I think at this point, when Ryan pits, this is going to cycle out, and Cole Martin is going to be your leader.
Yeah, and how many stages has he won this season?
But the thing is, for Cole Martin, he needs that 7, the 3, the 88, all those on the fuel saving to not be able to make it. If they make it, Cole Martin's not going to win this stage right now. It would currently go to the first guy in that fuel strategy mode, and that would be the 7 of Chris Murphy, and then Nick Gowan, who's behind him, but he's about 5 seconds behind Chris Murphy. And Ryan Crooks pits, Kurt, as Cole Martin passes him on the pit entrance.
That's what I said. I thought he would pit it as soon as Cole was getting to him. And right as Cole was coming up to him, he decided to go down pit road. If he's going to splash and take 2 tires, he might still come out right with Cole. But it's still going to depend.
Cole's already entering turn 3. Looks like he's taking fuel only, and Cole's coming off of turn 4 right now. It's going to be close.
Ryan coming out.
I think
Cole's
Cole
going to
gets
pass
him.
him.
Yeah, Cole's going to get him on before they exit a turn 2.
There goes Cole right
And
there.
There goes Cole. So that's the benefit of fresh tires and pitting when he did. He opened up a huge gap over that too. Now the big question though is, does the people that are on that fuel strategy have enough to make it?
Well, Sammy Harrell's out here right now as the leader with Jovi Ray. Jovi Ray needs to get by Sammy Harrell to get that bonus point of leading a lap. But Sammy's got to pit here shortly, so he's put Ryan Crooks 1 lap down now. But Ryan is a little bit behind these guys, but he has no fresh tires.
Yeah,
Brandon
and that's
Watkins
the thing.
now coming too.
That's the thing. He pitted already, but he doesn't have the speed to just straight past them. Actually, Jose Ruiz Kurt going to get by the 2 of Ryan Crooks as well. So Ryan right now might have misplayed that strategy a little bit. I think when he realized the 31 came down that early, he should have figured he was going to put tires on it, and if he was just going to top off, should have done it sooner, or at least came down and put right sides on. But big benefit right now for the 31 though. 31 though still sitting back in 9th place right now, Kurt. And I think he is on the lead lap right now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's Sammy Harrell out front, Jovi Ray sitting 2nd, Chris Murphy 3rd, Nick Gowan 4th, John Osborne 5th, Tyler Belanger 6th, Mike Papa Campbell 7th. And all of those guys, besides the front 2 of Sammy Harrell and Jovi Ray, have been fuel saving since the start of since the restart. So those guys can possibly make it on fuel. Sammy Harrell, Jovi Ray, we know probably cannot make it on fuel, as Jose Ruiz on fresh tires after pitting gets by Jovi Ray, and looks like he's going to come up on Sammy Harrell to try to unlap himself. That'll put him in 9th place on the leaderboard.
Yeah, Cole Martin right now sitting 8th, about 4 seconds behind 7th place. So still got a ton of ground to make up just to get up to 7th. And then I think after that, it's going to be when does Sammy and Joey pit? And also, does the 7-3, 81, 88 have enough fuel? And is the 71 of Mike Campbell also in that same boat of saving fuel?
Yeah, he's been saving too. I think Chris, though, he's got to look at the board and say, I'm 5.5 seconds over Nick Gowan, who can make it as well, or is attempting to make it. He's 23 seconds up over Cole Martin, who has the freshest tires out of the group. I think if he's, I mean, I know he's
Sammy's coming now.
I know.
And so is Jovi. Jovi, though, spins it, getting onto pit road, just touches a wall, but it's going to lose a ton of time having to back up.
Yeah, I don't think they were going to make it. So that's going to put Chris Murphy in the lead with over 6.5 seconds, or actually over 7.5 seconds over second place Nick Gowan. I think if you're Chris Murphy, Chad, I think you save even more.
I mean, he is shutting it off pretty early. And I know Chris Murphy does have sim apps, so he's got a pretty good idea of what he needs to do, and he can keep track of, that fuel lap by lap of how much, he's saving or where he's at as far as getting him to the end. But that's the thing, you can't just get to 55. You got to get to at least probably 56 before you're going to be able to come down pit road, maybe even 57. So, I would make sure I'm probably at least a lap and a half, 2 laps to the good, just to make sure I can, pit when I'm supposed to and keep this track position.
I don't know if he'll make it, but we're watching him here as he comes through the front stretch going into turn 1. You can see him shutting off just about the Coca-Cola sign on the wall, and basically has it shut off pretty much halfway through the corner. I think I would have it shut off a little bit more than that, rolling through the corner, almost the entire corner if he could, because he's pulling away from Nick Gowan. He's now up to almost 9 seconds out in front of Nick Gowan. I would have it shut off almost the entire corner, Chad.
Well, I mean, like I said, he does have sim apps, so he knows what he needs. And, Chris Murphy played the fuel strategy at Kentucky. So he's done it before, and, I don't see him making a mistake of running out. If he was getting that close, I think we would see him shutting it off a lot sooner. And he has been doing this since, they went back green. So I think he might have it in the bag. He's got to do one more lap to get him to the end of the stage, and then he's going to need at least one more lap after that.
We just shut it off on the front stretch. And we got to 55, so he's done. Stage is over.
The end of, I think it's
the
the end of
caution's
55.
not out yet, so yeah, he shut it off on the front stretch thinking the caution was going to come out, and it did not come out. So is he out? I think he's out, Chad. Or he's got to shut off completely. I think he's just trying to make it to the finish line. Can he make it to the end of the stage? The caution is out. Does he have enough fuel to get back around? Chris Murphy wins the stage tonight, which definitely helps him into the playoffs. John Osborne going to come second, Chad, after being in the hospital last week. Nick Gowan third. Tyler Belanger fourth, so that's a good night for Tyler Belanger to move up. He does finish out in front of Cole Martin, who finishes right behind him in fifth. Jose Ruiz sixth. Ryan Crook seventh. Austin Walton eighth. Sammy Harrell ninth.
Just heard that John Osborne, Kurt, out of fuel.
Yeah, but I don't think it really matters for him here. He's just got to coast around. Even if he comes down pit road early, his penalty is the move to the back of the field. So
he's getting a little help from the three
right
right
bump
now.
draft from the three there. Is pushing allowed, Chad?
I don't know.
He ain't helping him. He's just giving him a little bump draft.
Looks like
And
pit road
Gowan
is
might be out
open,
too.
so-
Red lights are on pit road.
No, they're green.
On screen, they're red.
Mine are green.
That's weird. Nick Gowan down pit road. Cole Martin down pit road. Tyler Belanger down pit road. Chris Murphy down pit road as well and hits his pit box. That just tightened up the points even more, Shad. I don't know who's gonna make it into the final spot, but these
Yeah, I
guys
mean,
just tightened it
Cole
up even
Morton
more.
was able to battle back to fifth.
The person
But
that
he
hurts the most
lost.
is Jovi
Yeah, Jovi,
and
Wesley
Wesley.
Jeanette,
Both.
Wesley Jeanette getting 10th, so only one playoff or bonus point there for him. Jovi getting none. So
We
Chris
just
Murphy
tightened
just
up to like a battle
yeah.
of like 3 points.
I think Chris Murphy definitely just boosted himself up into second right now. Still gonna need a good finish to guarantee himself into the next round. Tyler Bielaser, got fourth. That's pretty good, but gonna need a very good finish as well. Cole Martin, another one, got at least top five for the stage, but gonna need a solid finish as well to be able to jump Wesley Jeanette. But Chris Murphy looking pretty good right now.
Why don't you go grab your good buddy and we'll talk to him about his amazing fuel strategy call there.
All right, he's in.
Arfie, got a copy?
I gotcha.
All right, congratulations on the stage win there. You needed those bonus points to keep yourself up into the top four. You probably just moved yourself up into second in the points with Jovi Ray not receiving any of those stage points. Where did you come up with that strategy? About, 11 laps into the race?
That first caution really just kind of opened the door for that, and I talked with John, and him and I love these fuel mileage races, so we said, why not give it a shot? I didn't really have the pace from the back to be able to get all the way up there to get some decent points, so try to force the hands of the guys in front of me there, and luckily I was able to save. I actually had too much. I had over a lap and a half of fuel still in the tank there, so it is what it is. I learned a little bit for this next run here, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's looking pretty good so far.
Well, Chris, like Kurt said, that these 10 bonus points that you just got gonna prevail you probably up to P2 right now in the standings as far as the chase. Got to take off some of that pressure, knowing that you just opened up a gap between third and fourth. How do you feel about the rest of this race, and how much pressure is there on you right now to get a good finish still?
Oh, there's definitely still a pressure there. Anything can happen in these races. We saw how my luck was all season. So at any moment, I'm expecting to get turned and put in the wall. So I won't be able to take a breath or anything like that until the checkered flag is rolling, or waving.
All right, Chris. Well, Shad, send him back down. Chris, we appreciate you coming up, and what a call for stage win. Congratulations on that. I think that's your first stage win, so congratulations on that. And we'll see where you end up here and if you can make it into the Final Four.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, Shad, looks like we've got, about 75? Is that what I'm reading right there? 75 laps to go. Once we go green, we're still not on 1 to green, so but Jovi Ray's going to be up towards the front, Shad. I'm kind of confused here.
He's gonna get a wave round. He was a lap down, stayed out. Should be getting the wave round once we go 1 to go. But Kurt, fuel not an issue right now if it stays green from here on out. You should be able to make it on 1 stop. So, as a strategy standpoint, you need to be able to save those tires, be able to run about 37, and then, about 37 again. Would be splitting it in half. So, gonna have to save onto the tires, and if a caution comes out, Kurt, with about 47, 48 to go, fuel strategy come right back into the hands of those people that just did it, as they ran, I think, 49 laps there.
Well, Jovi Ray gets put back on the lead lap with that Alexander Customs wave around there for getting it, but We'll see what happens here. Nick Gowanshag going to be starting on the inside of Chris Murphy. Nick is the one that I kind of thought would be up here to try to play spoiler for the playoff drivers for this win tonight. And here he is in the second half of the stage, or second half of this race, starting on the front row with Cole Martin and Jose Ruiz to his rear there, with Wesley Jeanette, Ryan Crooks, all in the playoffs in the top 10 too.
Yeah, he would have played spoiler, but unfortunately, Chris Murphy played the fuel strategy better than Nick Gowan. I think Nick Gowan might have been using that as a test session. We heard him before despise fuel mileage races, so that could have been something he was testing out for other leagues. But, you know, up front now, going to start on the inside as Chris Murphy has elected to take the outside with his teammate right behind him in Jose Ruiz. But Cole Martin Kurt on the inside. Now that the fuel strategy is out the window currently, I think Cole Martin's going to try to get this thing, that 31 machine, out front and start leading laps and try to get a solid finish. But green flag is back out in the air, Kurt. We see the 3 of Nick Gowan spin the tires a little bit. Able to get it hooked up faster, though, than the 2 of Ryan Crooks. Not going to lose any positions. Unlike Ryan when he spun it on the opening stint. Nick Gowan actually, Kurt, going to look to the outside right now. Chris Murphy for the lead. Does not clear him yet, going down the backstretch into 3.
He's got him going into 3 and 4 now. Cole Martin coming on the outside of the 7. If he can get to his outside, they'll be able to drag race down the front stretch. Looks like Chris is going to be able to slide in right in front of the 31, 23, and 43, battling side by side back there for 4th and 5th. Ryan Crooks looking to split these two if he can. He is right behind one of them, trying to figure out which one to pass. Wesley Jeanette also doing the same thing behind Ryan Crooks, figuring out which way to go. Aaron's 44, Brandon Watkins sitting back here as well with Johnny D. Tyler Belanger sitting back here in 10th. Got the good stage points, is in a good position right now. If he can hang on to this top 10 and try to get a little further close to the front, we might see him jump into that 4th spot. Jovi Ray, though, Chad, is going to have to do a lot of work from the back. Being that he's second in the points. Yeah, on older tires. He's on 13-lap older tires than everybody else. I don't know if this is going to work out for him. I mean, he had a little bit of breathing room, I think, by like 7 points over Chris Murphy. But with him getting 0 stage points and Murphy getting 10, that should definitely bump Murphy. Oh, plus the leading lap. That should move Murphy up in front of him. And Cole Martin led some laps and got a couple stage points. Tyler Belanger got a couple stage points. That definitely tightens that 4th position and 3rd position. I think we're separated for 4 guys fighting for those 2 positions, or 5 guys really fighting for those 2 positions by like 6 or 7 points. So this thing is extremely tight.
Yeah, 31, Kurt, of Cole Martin able to get around the 7 of Chris Murphy for second. Now behind his buddy in that 3 car, but he is all over that rear bumper of that 3 machine. And I thought there for a second going through 3 and 4 was going to get underneath him, but Nick Gowan just not enough room underneath him for that 31 of Cole Martin to make a move. But on the outside, Kurt, for P4 is Ryan Crooks going to clear Sammy Harrell for P4. So Ryan Crooks trying to make a comeback from his little debacle with the fuel strategy. He's now to the outside of that 7 of Chris Murphy for P3. Move him up to P3 as he does clear him coming out of turn 3.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Murphy's really putting up a fight when these guys are trying to pass him. He's kind of doing the strategy of what you said before. Take it easy in the beginning of a run. Let the other guys go out there and burn their tires off. Save tire for a long run. That's what it looks like Murphy's doing. Every time somebody gets to him, he just lets them go. He's not really battling them, which is what you told him to do at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, you know, he's sitting in a really good spot right now, getting that stage win. So, you know, he comes out here, finishes top 5, he's going to move on. He does not, though, need to get any kind of tangle with anyone and get wrecked and go to the back of the field or have to tow and lose laps that way. That would hurt him really bad right now. So that's what I was telling him in the beginning. You know, if someone diving under you or going to the outside, just let them go, save your stuff, and, you know, try to hang on to a good finish, which, you know, he's got 3 cars in front of him that are very fast. Sammy Harrell, though, in that 43, looking really fast tonight as well. Glad to see Sammy back on the track. Been a while since we've seen him here in Velocity, but Sammy brought the speed tonight, that's for sure. Definitely been a top 5 car so far through 68 laps.
noticing, Shad, that Papa Bear Campbell did not make it back to pit road very fast, so he actually went multiple laps down, which I don't know exactly what happened to him there. I didn't see him on track when they were running the caution laps.
Oh, I think he had it. I don't know.
So kind of confusing there, but we'll see if Papa Bear can work his way back. 5 laps is a lot on Charlotte because it's usually not a caution fest at this track, and we've only seen one so far.
Yeah, one caution, which was Papa Bear right there at the stage end. So, yeah, but the field, Kurt, right now is pretty grouped. We are single filed, clear back to about 9th place. Then we get a little bit of side-by-side action, but the whole field currently pretty well grouped up. But Kurt, up front, the 2 of Ryan Crooks looking underneath that 3 machine of Nick Gowan for P1. We know Ryan's good at saving the tires, had the long run speed in that first stint. How much does that, though, compare now with Nick Gowan and Cole Martin? We've seen both of those drivers very well at saving tires.
Yeah, I mean, this is the battle I expected throughout the playoffs through when we were watching through the regular season. These are the 2 guys that I expected to be battling for a championship. With Nick not being able to make several races that dropped him out. Ryan definitely picked up those spots. He won, I think, 3 straight at one point with the All-Star race too or something. So there's a lot of different drivers that are competing for these 8 spots, but Nick's one that I expected to be in that top 8, Shad, and he just didn't make it out of the first round of the playoffs with missing 2 of those first races in the first round. So, but I do not count him out. If he shows up for a race, I expect him to be in the top 3 in pretty much every race. He had, I don't know how many wins he had this season. I think it was 3 or 4 before he started missing races. So I love seeing that 3. I love his paint scheme with his Twitch name across the side rather than the good wrench. It's just pure Nick Gowan. That's what I see when I see that car. So, but him and Ryan side by side, Chad, it's usually detrimental to the 2 cars that are side by side like that. It usually brings the other cars into the battle. But I'm not seeing Cole really getting close here. Maybe Cole's backing off and just saying, hey, I'm going to let those 2 battle it out, see if they wreck each other or something.
I think Nick Gowan is forcing that 2 of Ryan Crooks to maybe use those tires a little bit more than what he wants to, battling side by side. And Cole Martin, I think, is just sitting there allowing his good buddy Nick Gowan to force the 2 to do this while he sits back and saves tires. We know Nick Gowan, obviously the points don't mean nothing to him, so if he can go out here and, you know, cause another playoff driver to burn his stuff up or fight really hard, you know, that could be helpful to his buddy in the 31 if, you know, eventually Cole Martin is able to get back by these 2 guys in front of him and gain those positions. We know Cole, you know, got, I think, 5th in the stage. Not bad there, but he definitely needs probably a top 3 finish to make sure he moves on, but he cannot allow that 74 or possibly the 88 also to finish in front of him. So Cole's still got to be a little cautious, but setting himself up right now to be able to move on with Chris Murphy. And I don't know about Nate Mullen if he does make it with Tyler Belanger. Yeah, so it could be right now. I think it would be Ryan Crooks, Chris Murphy, Tyler B, and Cole Martin possibly moving on, doing the quick math. So, or at least as they run right now.
Yeah, we got a little clarification too about what happened with Papa Bear. Papa ran out of fuel at the end of the stage, tried to downshift to neutral and hit first by accident and spun and collected Jose Ruiz.
Okay. I did not see Jose get involved in that. So.
Yeah, me neither. So, not good for Papa, not good for Jose either. But Jose is still running. He's out there in 10th right now. But Chad, these 2 are still side by side, and they've been running side by side for multiple laps now. And it looks like Nick might get up in front of Ryan as Ryan goes high out of turn 2 and scrapes
almost
the wall.
Hit the wall, I think. Yeah, he might have touched it there a little bit. You know, those tires battling side by side like that. I think Nick Gowan could have forced Ryan to use his stuff up a little bit there. Still a long way to go. I think, Kurt, would we go back green with 59 laps in? I think is when we went back green. So That puts it at what?
Yeah, we got about 73 or 72 laps in this second half of the race. We've got 58 to go now.
Yeah, and how long have they been green?
I don't know. They got 22 laps on their tires, so what is that? 2-3 caution laps, so 19 maybe 20 on the tires for being green.
Yeah, so we went back green with what, 70 to go, so
Yeah, like 72, 73.
yeah, so they could run 37, make it easily on fuel. It's just how long do your tires last? Can they last another 20 laps, which would put you at 37 and 37? You know, I don't think Ryan and Nick, the way they're battling, are their tires going to make it another 20 laps before some of these other drivers who've been kind of sitting back? I don't think so. I think Cole Martin, Sammy Harrell, maybe Chris Murphy as well, may pass these two as these 20 laps come down before we get to 37 to go. But then again, you know, Nick Gowan, Ryan Crooks, they're so good that they can battle side by side and still not burn their stuff up. So, no telling how much damage they actually did to their tires battling like that.
Well, we'll see what happens here as Nick Gowan continues to lead, but we'll look back through the field here as we've got Ryan Crooks in second, Cole Martin in third, Sammy Harrell in that purple and white massage MVP scheme in fourth, Chris Murphy in fifth, Wesley Jeanette sitting sixth, Brandon Watkins in the Aaron's Mobile sitting seventh, Jose Ruiz rebounding after that incident with Papa Bear up to eighth now, John Osborne sitting ninth, Tyler Belanger 10th, Sean Walton 11th, Johnny D 12th, Joby Ray 13th, Austin Walton 14th, and Papa Bear out of the race on pit road. Engine's still running, but he's on pit road in 15th. Jake Rowell never started the race, so he's going to wind up finishing 16th. But Nick Gowan out front.
Nick Gowan out front, still running, let's see, this time by 30.6. So tires aren't too bad right now. But how long do they hang on? I see Cole Martin looking pretty hungry. I think he's going to want to try to get around that 2 car here at some point. Move himself another position. Wesley Jeanette trying to make a rebound from getting 10th in the stage. He's got to finish in front of Cole Martin and Tyler Belanger to possibly force himself into the next round without getting without getting a ton of stage points. So when Tyler Belanger and Cole Martin both finished 4th and 5th, I believe, that means Wesley has to beat them by 4 or 5 spots to make up those points, let alone any points he was behind them. But I think he was in 3rd or 4th place, something like that. So, but either way, Wesley, he's not safe. The only way to, I think, make himself safe is to win this race. Then I think he definitely has a shot of moving on.
And I'm looking at the 2 sectors here. I mean, they're so close, Gowan and Crooks. I mean, it's a 0-0-0 for time difference between sector 1 or sector 2 there coming off turn 4. Sector 1, Crooks is .019 off of Gowan's pace. So I mean, they're so close in speed. It's ridiculous on how these guys are so close. But I'm kind of amazed that we haven't seen another caution. I mean, Charlotte usually doesn't produce a whole lot of cautions anyways, but it's surprising on a restart that we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Charlotte, Texas. Once things start to get singled out and
We got
stretched
Brandon Watkins
out,
in the wall. Looks like he got stuck on it. He's off of it. Nope, back on it again. Coming off turn 4, gets a little loose, wiggles in front of the Joby Ray and the 10. Stays in the gas. They're going to go 3 wide. Now the 10's in the wall. 9's down on the apron. And it looks like they might get it settled out, but that 44 was definitely a little bit out of whack there. Going to lose a couple positions. Going to slip all the way back to 12th. Now the 9 and 42 going to try to go around him. Got a little hairy there.
that's something our leaders do not want to see, because if a caution wants to come out right now, it would put the fuel strategy definitely in play. And that is something none of these guys up front want to see, because they just seen that Chris Murphy is probably the best on it as, right now. But that 31 Kurt Cole Martin looking to the outside of that too, trying to get around him on the high side.
He might clear him down the front stretch. It looks like Ryan Crooks may have used a little bit of tire there battling with Nick.
Yes, he does clear him going into turn 2. So move Cole Martin up to second place. Ryan back to third. But Sammy Harrell now looking to the inside of that 2 machine.
Yeah, he's been pretty much driving in the top 5 all night. So that 43 Massage Envy has definitely got some speed in it. I don't think he finished outside the top 10 in the stage break, so he's not running for points, not here for the playoffs, nothing like that, just out here trophy hunting with Nick Gowan. But can definitely take some point spots away from these playoff drivers, as they need those points. So we'll see if Chris Murphy can get around 43, or if the 43 gets around Ryan Crooks, and then Murphy will have to contend with Ryan Crooks there. But Nick Gowan, pulled out a little bit over Cole Martin there by about a tenth or 2. Cole, I think, has saved a little bit more tire than Nick has. But those two are teammates, so we'll see if it gets down to the nitty-gritty, if we're down to the end of the race here, if Nick maybe gives up that spot to Cole to help him push himself into the top 4.
Yeah, I think Ryan Crook's tires might be hurting just a little bit. Doesn't not look like his car is able to hold the bottom. He's been running that high side to try to keep the speed up. It makes it really difficult on anyone trying to pass him on the bottom. It's just I think battling there with Nick Gowan has burned those tires up a little bit. Gonna have to try to ride for a little bit and cool them off. Problem is, he's got guys right behind him hungry to get into that 3rd position. And Sammy Harrell, like you said, running pretty much top 5 all night, showing a lot of speed, and is trying to get around that too as well. But I have seen Sammy now a couple times coming off of turn 4, Kurt, that back end getting a little squiggly on him. So it's definitely not easy right now for Sammy trying to make these passes.
Well, we said Ryan's tires were burned off, but he's actually the quickest on the track. So I don't know. He's now 2 laps in a row. He's the fastest car on track by about a tenth and a half over Cole Martin and Nick Gowan. Actually, now Nick about a half tenth. So maybe he backed it off a little bit, cooled those tires a little bit. You can cool them a little bit, Shad, if you back off the pace just a little bit there. And he did slip and back up to Sammy Harrell. But Sammy's not giving up on him. He is trying to make the pass on the 2 of Ryan Crooks right now. And Chris Murphy's just sitting back here like a spectator, just watching these guys battling it out.
Yeah, if I'm Chris Murphy right now, he finishes 5th right here. He's moving on. Getting up there, battling with anyone, forcing, maybe an accident, doesn't gain him anything. Sitting where he is right now, just riding around, they're pulling a gap on 6th place. And, if it finishes right now, he's moving on for sure. So, Chris Murphy right now, I don't think you need to force anything. Just ride around and pit when these guys pit, and, see where you end up. But, right now, looking really good.
Well, we just are coming up to 40 to go, Shad. Getting close to the pit window, I would think.
Oh, the pay window, as Clint Boyer says, is definitely open. It's been open for about 2-3 laps now, to where these drivers can make it. And, anyone pitting now,
like
you're
Austin
just pretty
Wall was
much
down.
Yeah, and I think I heard maybe the 44 said he was coming down as well. But, yeah, they can easily pit here and make it. And I think the 2 is coming down. Yep,
Ooh.
2 is coming down.
That was close for Murphy.
Yeah, I don't know if Murphy heard him or not, or maybe he didn't realize it, but, this is definitely the beginning. Our leaders, I see Tyler B., Jovi Ray, also coming down. So
I'm seeing the 9 come. Is the 9 back down? No, he's back out. So it looks like the 10 and 44 are also down.
31-43 coming this time, and the 7 as well going to come down this next time by. Definitely do not want to speed here. No mistakes.
I think you're
looks
trying
like
to
20.
trying to scream that to the 7, aren't you?
Yeah, 23 of Jose Ruiz also made up a ton of ground there, entering pit road. Going to be right on the bumper of his teammate there. So Jose made up some time entering the pits. Hopefully not getting a penalty, but hit your marks. Don't miss your box at all. And Jose, I think Kurt I don't know where he finished in the stage, but I think Jose at this point, Kurt, gonna have to get a win and get a little help to move on.
Caution's
Caution
out.
is out.
Jovi Ray spins on apron coming off pits, Chad, and that's what I was referencing before, is that bump on the apron. There's a little bump through turns 1 and 2 on the apron when you come off pit road, and if you hit it just right, it whips the car around, and it looks like Jovi may have found that spot. But Chad, this shakes everything up. All those guys that are down pit road, all are 1 lap down. Johnny D, Wesley Jeanette, John Osborne, and Nick Gowan stayed out on track before the caution came out. They're going to have to come down pit road at some point here. Everybody else, I think, is going to get the wave around there.
Yeah, but this is huge for Wesley Jeanette, Kurt, staying on the lead lap. Going to pit with only 3 other cars. And, he's going to get that track position, and this is huge for him with only getting 1 point for the stage, finishing 10th. Now he's going to be up front, and, he gets to win, Kurt. It could make it very interesting on points.
Oh, very interesting. As if it wasn't very interesting already. Jovi Ray, though, Chad, is going to be 2 laps down, and I don't think he's going to get a wave around because he brought out the caution, so that's not a good job for Jovi Ray right now. It's not a good night for him. He's going to have some big makeup changes here to get back on the lead lap and somehow figure out a way to work up towards the front.
Yeah, he should get the wave around, but
For one of those laps.
Yeah, if he's 2 laps down, then yeah, he's definitely still going to be 1 lap down. He's going to need the help of a caution from here on out, which we haven't seen, Kurt. So, Joey Ray, for his playoff chances, any Joey Ray fans, you better start praying for the yellow flag because he's going to need it if he wants to move on to that Final 4.
Yeah, this whole thing is now jumbled up, Shad, and we're within the pit window, so there's no fuel strategy going to be coming into this one.
No.
The guys who stayed out, they're going to have a little bit older tires than the guys who are allowed to pit right now.
Yeah, I mean, they should be fine. I mean, the caution came out while they were on pit road, so...
Well, some of them.
I mean, yeah, most of them.
They might have come out and ran 1 or 2 laps.
Yeah, they should be all right. I mean, 1-2 laps doesn't make a huge difference. But the track position does, and...
Well, let's go see if we can find Mr. Nick Gowan. Mr. Nick Gowan, you got a copy? This is Watson, Chad in the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Nick, welcome back. Definitely missed you on track. Love seeing that 3 out there. You've been really, really fast. Had the fuel strategy in the first stage. We're leading there when the caution came out, but all these guys are going to have to take the wave around to get back out, so you're going to be back in the lead. How's that 3 GST Spider car feeling, and do you have the shot to come out here and steal the trophy away from one of these playoff drivers?
It's feeling pretty good. Charlotte's one of my favorite tracks. I mean, granted, this is maybe my second race here in this car, so I mean, it's feeling pretty good. It's hard to gauge if I'm pushing too hard or not, so I'm just dragging some brake on the entry and all that. But Ryan was giving me a run for my money, and I felt like a super speedway there for a hot second, just paying attention
About
to where
8
he's
laps.
going. Yeah, and just racing. I mean, I'm aware he's racing. He's still in the playoffs, and I'm not. But I was giving him every bit of room that he needed. So I was just using the air and using the track and momentum just to keep him behind me. But yeah, feeling pretty optimistic about my chances as long as I can keep it clean. And now I'm going to have a little bit of a tire advantage on these guys too. So it's looking odds are in my favor, as it were. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, Nick Gallen, we've seen you during that stage go to the fuel strategy, something we've heard before that you despise of. Was that kind of something you were working on maybe for a different league, just trying to get a little practice at trying to save fuel?
Yeah, I mean, just might as well try it, I guess. I mean, the only other time I remember doing it was that first race of the year at Daytona, and I ran out on the, right after the yellow came out. So thankfully, I was able to save enough. Yeah, it's not my preferred method, but like with that caution that we had early in the stage, I figured it was just barely close enough to make it to the end. So just wanted to save an extra set over the rest of the guys in case we had a handful of late cautions. So, but yeah, it worked out. I mean, I don't really need the points. I guess I'm trying to go for 9th in the overall standings, but I feel like I'm pretty set in 10th where I'm at.
Nick, I know your teammates with Cole Martin and those guys where you run with them. If it comes down to the end here and Cole needs that win and it's you and Cole battling, are you going to give up that spot to Cole to get the win to move on to the next round?
I think he's good on points, so I mean he's gonna have to earn it if he wants it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll send you back down to your teammates. They're down in WMS there. Good luck, and we'll see if you bring that 3 back to victory lane since we haven't seen you in a little while.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Chad. He said he would make Cole earn it. I don't think Cole's completely
Well-
set. I think it's still close.
Well, Kurt, as these guys are about to go green, big news after that caution. The 7 of Chris Murphy, Kurt, got a speeding penalty on pit road, was not allowed to take the wave around. So Chris Murphy still 1 lap down, going to need a caution to get back on the lead lap, Kurt. As we see both front cars, Kurt, get loose. Stacks up the entire track there. Luckily, no caution, as everyone able to not run into the back of one another. That's Jeanette, Kurt, though, in that 74, Kurt. We know he probably needs a win for sure to be able to move on to the next round. He's going to try to battle hard, though, but 31 laps, Kurt, you got to save your tires a little bit. You cannot go out there and run a blistering pace and expect to be there at the end. You got to save a little bit. But for Chris Murphy fans, he's going to need a caution as he is the only car a lap down. So he will get that Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog Award if a caution does come out, as long as no other cars go a lap down and are in front of him.
42 sideways.
Johnny
Wow.
D get really loose and be able to hang on to it. That was not what Chris Murphy wants to see, as that would have probably involved him if Johnny D was not able to hang on to that. But good job by Johnny, because that car was all but pointed towards pit road there, coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, now with the point situation, Chad, Chris is lucky that he won the stage there and got those 10 points, and he's sitting right now, even though he's 1 lap down, he's sitting 13th. So I think with him being 13th and 1 lap down, Chad, that brings 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th in the points even tighter if it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, the 10 points definitely helped Chris. I mean,
it's close.
I think he'll be all right because he could possibly lose 10, 15. As Johnny Deker gets loose and slams the wall coming out of turn 4.
It's twice
No
in the
caution,
same spot
though.
there.
But yeah, so he could lose, 7, 8 points to some of these guys. He gained like 5, 6 on some of them, so it's going to be close. That is for sure. But John Osborne up there right now, battling for the lead. Oh, we got the 2 of Ryan Crookskirk going through the infield.
And he spins and hits the
Caution's
wall.
out hard into the wall. And this is exactly what Chris Murphy needed, Kurt. It's going to put him back on the lead lap.
Yeah, definitely helps Chris Murphy. Puts him back on the lead lap. Not sure what happened there. We'll pull it up and see what happens to Ryan Crooks as he went through the infield. It actually looks like it says he entered pit road, so I'm not sure if that'll be a pit penalty, but I would think it wouldn't be.
Oh, he tries to go underneath the 9, Kurt, and gets a little contact between those two and gets Ryan really loose as he goes through the infield and slams both the inside and outside walls.
All right, so we're locked in on Ryan Crooks right now. And I'll actually back it up just a little bit as we just came to it with Austin Walton bouncing off him. So, yeah, coming out of turn 4, Ryan Crooks looks low on the 9. A little bit of netcode there, got the 9 car sideways a little bit, turned him right into the door of the 2, hits the inside wall, almost hits the barrels there, then slides up the track and hits the outside wall. So major damage for the 2 car, Shad, and I don't know if he makes it back around to pit road, does he?
His engine blew coming through turns 1 and 2. I don't think he makes it. I think he had to tow it.
So that's
yeah, that's gonna put him multiple laps down.
Yeah, that's gonna open the door though. Takes a driver out of the top 10 finish, and like we said, it puts Chris Murphy back on the lead lap. He's now sitting 12th. But Nick Gowan out front, John Osborne sitting 2nd, Jose Ruiz 3rd. We'll pull up John Osborne and talk to him for a minute here. Since he's not running for the playoffs, we'll see how he's feeling. John, you got a copy? This is Watson Shad in the booth.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back to the race. Glad you're feeling good enough to come out here and race. And it looks like you're having the best run of your season so far, sitting 2nd right now, battling with Nick Gowan, who is a massive talent here in velocity. What do you got in that 81 Chubby's machine? You switched your paint scheme again, I think.
Yeah, I felt this one was brighter and it's hot, so why not put some skies out, dies out on tonight?
We were definitely throwing prayers your way. I know you were battling a lot of stuff this last week. Glad you're feeling up to it to come out and race, but looks like you're doing really good. So how's the car feeling, and how does it feel out on track to be back here running and possibly running for a win here?
Car feels really good, especially in the short run. I'm glad that we don't have to run a full fuel run here. I was trying to save with Nick, but he gave me the outside, and so I was like, I'm going to take this. And I don't know if netcode got us or what. It felt like we were glued together. I tried to steer off him, but I was already on the wall, so I bounced off of it, but I don't think it gave me any damage. But the car feels good. I don't know if we can get him or not. I don't know if he was saving, going to make a push. But I don't have anything to lose. I was just gonna send it.
Looks like almost everybody behind you came down pit road there, so there might be a lot of guys on fresh tires behind you guys. Is that going to be an advantage or a disadvantage? You guys are out front far enough with a couple cars between you and those new fresh tires.
No, the fresh tires are gonna hurt, but I think we'll get another caution. And really, I think the best case scenario is we go with maybe 5 to 7 laps, then get a caution, then come down, and we'll have fresher tires than everybody else. So. Yeah, I didn't anticipate that many coming down. I thought about it, but I was like, I don't know. I want to hold those. So I guess we'll wait and see, but you never know.
Shad, anything for this 81 of John Osborne?
Well, John, glad to see that you're somewhat doing good. Glad that the doctors confirmed that you do have a brain and it's functioning.
It's up there, I guess.
I didn't see that confirmation.
Surprised they said there was nothing wrong with it. But, anyways, glad to see you're up here running and having another strong run after finishing 2nd last week. Seeing if you can bring that Woody's machine back to victory lane. Actually, I think it would be your first time in velocity bringing that thing to victory lane. You said, Charlotte was one you were looking forward to. You got some fresh tires though behind you, but you show a lot of speed in that car, and obviously we know you could save the fuel as well. But I guess good luck, and see if we're out here talking to you at the end of this thing.
I appreciate it, guys. We'll see what happens here.
John, I'm going to ask you, because I've asked a couple other people already. I know you have not won in velocity. You're going for your first win. Jose and Murphy are battling in the playoffs there. If it comes down to you three coming off of turn 4, would you back out of it and let one of those guys win to move on to the playoffs, or would you steal that trophy?
Oh no, I'm going for the win, y'all.
Steal that trophy, buddy. I was hoping you'd say that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna wreck anybody, but I'm going for the win.
All right, we'll send you back down to your teammates, and good luck on the rest of the race.
Appreciate it, guys.
I don't know if you heard that, Chad, but I heard something sound like an engine broke while we were listening to John talk there. But I don't know who it was or if it was just a phantom sound, but it sounded like an engine blew up while we were rolling there.
Must have been Phantom.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody. We're going to go into turn 3 and 4 with the pace car out front. Going to be ducking down pit road. Nick Gowan and John Osborne going to be on the front row, leading them into the restart zone for the start. The next restart here. 3 incident cautions tonight. 23 laps to go. They've got enough fuel and tire to make it to the end. What will happen, Chad, when we go through this restart? And Nick Gowan's going to lead them in. And back to green racing we go.
Yeah, inside line just does not get the jump. I don't know if there's just not any grip down there for these restarts. But Nick Gallenkirk gets out to about 4 car lengths over a side-by-side battle for second, something that Nick Gowan definitely wants to see. But John Osborne able to gas it up and clear that 88 machine of Tyler Belanger. Tyler Belanger trying to make a comeback and move on to the next round. Got top 5 stage points, sitting top 5 right now. It would probably get him in if it finishes here like this, but definitely don't want to rely on that as he's got the 31 of Cole Martin coming up behind him.
And Tyler needs Cole Martin to slip and fall down the list, because even though he finished 1 spot in front of him in the points, he was not 1 point back from Cole Martin in the playoffs. He's I think 2 or 3 points back, so he needs a few positions between him and Cole Martin and him and Wesley Jeanette for him to move up into that top 4 spot. I'm going to pull up the standings again on screen so we can see where these guys are at before this race started. And there you go. So Tyler Belanger was 3 points back from Jose Ruiz, was 3 points back from Cole Martin, as Cole Martin and Jose Ruiz were tied. He was 5 points back from Wesley Jeanette, and he was 8 points back from Chris Murphy.
So he gained the points on Wesley and is currently sitting 5 spots in front of Wesley. So I think right now, if it finishes the way it is, Tyler B would be in with
it just
Cole
depends
Martin
on Cole Martin, because Tyler didn't lead a lap, but Cole did.
I think it depends between. I think the battle for that 4th and final spot, with first, second going to Ryan and Chris Murphy. I think the 3rd and 4th is between Cole, Tyler, and Wesley Jeanette.
And they're all 3
right
within
now,
5 positions of each other.
Yeah, but Wesley only got 1 stage point. So I think this is almost heads up right now between Tyler B and Wesley Jeanette of who is the final 4th and final transfer.
Well, if Cole got 1 point for leading a lap, Tyler did not lead a lap, so that bumped him up to 4 points in front of Tyler. And then
42 into the pit, I think into the barrels.
And I don't see him, so it looks like he went to pit road. He towed as quickly as possible, but caution comes out. And that's what John Osborne was calling for, Shad. They'd run another 5 to 7 laps and then have a caution come out, and he'd come down pit road, and they'd be out on tires on everybody. Everybody else pit 9 laps ago. I would say Nick and John, I mean, both of them did pretty well there as pulling away from, I mean, Nick Gowan had a huge gap on everybody. But I would assume you have to pit, right? Nick and John does have to pit, I would assume. I don't think they make it to the end on their tire situation with being.
I don't know. I mean, they were pulling away. Nobody on fresh tires was gaining on them, so I don't know. I don't know if you
the
give up
3
the
of them
track
pit, they only go back to 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Yeah, but that's 9
Yeah.
cars you got to pass.
That's 4 fresh tires on 10 lap fresher tires
I don't know, but
with
Kurt,
16 laps to go too.
That wreck right there happens. Johnny D gets really loose coming out of turn 4. Chris Murphy has nowhere to go and gets into the left rear of Johnny D, sending Johnny D into the trash barrels at the pit entrance. And Johnny D at that point does a 360, and I think had to tow it from there on out. But Nick Gowan, John Osborne gonna come down pit road. I think also the 7 of Chris Murphy came down too.
We're watching now as they go through in 3 and 4. Murphy coming up on the outside of the 42. 42 on the bottom line. We've seen him get loose multiple times there, Shad. Oh, this was the lap prior, sorry. Murphy got loose, though, coming off of 4 that time. We'll speed this up through here. All right, so into the next turn, 3 and 4. You can see Johnny D wiggling it back and forth. Tries to avoid the 9. Oh, we must be on the wrong lap again. Alright, the next turn 3 and 4. He's underneath the 9 of Austin. Oh, he clips the apron. That's what it is. Gets loose, and the 7 has nowhere to go, and Johnny D just demolishes those trash cans. Or sand barrels, water barrels, whatever they are. Wow. That was a heavy hit. But back up front, Chad, it's Tyler Belanger out front, as the other 3 did come down pit road. That puts him at the back of the field, which only moves him a little bit, as actually Nick's going to go to 5th.
Yeah, top 4 stayed out. And the top 4 includes Tyler B., Sammy Harrell, Cole Martin, Sean Walton.
That's 2 guys who are not playoff drivers.
Actually, I think Wesley Jeanette also stayed out. So
Wesley stayed out.
Yeah, top 5 or 6.
And Brandon Watkins came down, and it only looks like he took 2 tires.
Yeah, so top 5 stayed out, 6th place, 2 tires. Everyone else behind him, 4 fresh Goodyears. And we're going to have
if anything, this helps Tyler, Chad.
To go.
Massively, to have that many cars between him and the guys on 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, if anything, if this thing stays green, Kurt, I don't see him falling back, 6, 7 spots. He could still come away with a top 5. And
the only problem for him is that Cole's in 3rd and Wesley's in 5th.
Yeah, but Wesley did not take tires as well, so I think he can afford to lose positions to Cole. As long as he beats Wesley, that's where I think he gets in. And if I'm Chris Murphy fans, he's currently sitting 11th. If he can get up into the top 10, I think at that point he's in as well.
Jovi's out of the race, so I think that puts him
I
out
think
of the
he's
playoffs.
done. Yeah, no stage points, and finishing 14th tonight, I think is going to be the end of Jovi's playoff chances.
I'm going to grab Tyler real quick and talk to him. Tyler, get a copy of the Watson Shad.
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
You sound like you don't want to talk to us here. You know we're going to ask. How was that car feeling?
It felt good. It just started coming around when that caution came around. I launched real tight on that last restart. Tires had just settled, and I was just starting to catch the top 3. I really wanted to stay green there. But I don't know. I feel like
you and the guys on 4 fresh tires now.
Yeah, they're going to come up there pretty quick. I'm just going to have to try to be as clean and smooth as I can. I do not have a fast repair. Guys almost wrecked in front of me on one of those last restarts. About made me crap my pants. But
well, Shad's
if it doesn't
he doesn't
work
think
out,
you need to win. He just thinks you need to finish right in front of Cole Martin.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see how it turns out after the stage points. But hey, we gave it our best shot. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I feel good about my race so far today, despite my one blunder, hooking myself over Walton's nose. So, hey, we'll see. Hopefully I can be up there getting an interview and putting in the stage points and making it.
Well, Kurt, you might want to send them back down. They're getting close.
Good luck, Tyler.
Thanks.
All right, it's going to be close, Shad. I think these points are going to come down to 1 or 2.
I honestly think Cole, he could possibly beat out Cole, but I think it's pretty much heads up between Tyler B. and Wesley Jeanette for that 4th and final spot. I think it's Ryan Crooks, Cole Martin, and Chris Murphy are the 3 ahead of them. It's just a battle between Tyler B and Wesley Jeanette. Kurt, we're back green, 12 laps to go. Tyler B doesn't get the greatest of start, but he's going to pull about a car length and a half over second place Sammy Harrell.
And Sean Walton coming up on the outside of those guys. He's going to push for second place, right next to the 43, which is 2 cars in between the 88 and the 31. Getting down to the nitty-gritty here of the final laps, Chad. That is not something Cole Martin needs, is to have 2 cars between him and Tyler Belanger. Martin getting a little loose there, though. And 3 cars between Belanger and Wesley Jeanette.
Yeah, I think Wesley knows with Tyler B up front, he's got to get in front of him.
Oh, Sean Walton to the wall.
Wesley Jeanette right now has got to push everything he's got left in those tires. He's got to get up there. He's got to make some aggressive moves. As we see him right there,
Ooh, that was
get
aggressive.
underneath the 10. But he does not clear him. He's going to be side by side with him. That's going to allow Tyler B to open up even more of a gap on him. That's not what Wesley wants. He wants these passes to happen quickly, as I think he should maybe clear him now coming out of turn 2.
No.
No, does not clear him, though. Sean Walton still hanging on to that outside, and Wesley Jeanette is seeing his playoff chances drive away, as Sean Walton actually going to be able to clear Wesley Jeanette as they go into turn 3. So Wesley got to make up some passes, and he's got 10 laps to do it.
And Brandon Watkins sitting back here watching all of this with Jose Ruiz. Jose needs a big thing to happen here, too. I think Jose pretty much needs to just get a win. Nick Gowan, John Osborne, and Chris Murphy with those fresh tire shots sitting back in 8th, 9th, and 10th. They're closing in the gap a little bit on Jose Ruiz and Brandon Watkins. I don't know if they can get up to Tyler Belanger if this thing stays green. Tyler just needs to keep his foot on the pedal and go.
You know, Tyler out there still running 30.1s. If you go to Murphy's lap time last time by, runs a 29.9, as Tyler B, though, runs a 30 flat. So those fresh tires are not an advantage right now. And, you know, as these laps keep ticking down, it's, you know, Tyler Belanger's got about 1.6 seconds over the fresh tires of Nick Gowan.
I think
John gets moved.
He's turning back at the track right into Murphy.
Murphy, that's going to bring out a caution.
And that is going to hurt Murphy.
I think Murphy does have a fast repair, though.
Oof. And that car is not driving correctly.
Nah, it's got a couple broken toe links.
Yeah, it's crab walking completely. So, not going to be a good deal for Chris Murphy. He's going to have to get at the pit road, get that fast repair on it quickly, and get back out here. But Osborne got loose, came back up and collected his teammate there. Not going to be a good sign for Murphy. He's got to put in some work now to get back into the top 10. We'll back it up here and look to see what happens with John Osborne and Chris Murphy, and how close it was for a couple others.
Yeah, and this is going to put Ryan Crooks, I believe, back on the lead lap, Kurt.
Yeah, it does. All right, so here we are. Osborne coming through 3 and 4 with Nick Gowan underneath him, if this is the correct lap. It is not, so I'll fast forward. All right, so through 3 and 4, you got Murphy right behind Osborne. Osborne coming down close to the line, and not the right lap again. Thank you, SDK. Try one more time through 3 and 4. Osborne trying to peek underneath the 3. Looks like he might have clipped the line too, Shad, and it pulled him up the track. Wiggles there.
Yeah, got him loose, and trying to save it, he goes up the track, gets into that left rear of Nick Gowan, gets him even more loose, and then, you know, innocent bystander Chris Murphy, nowhere to go, runs to the back of John, and then it shoots Murphy into the wall and sends John even, you know, more sideways coming off of turn 4, and collects Chris Murphy once again.
Yeah, it looks like Murphy might have got some help too from behind. It looked like maybe Austin Walton ran into the back of the 7, which drove him straight into the 81 there. Yeah, he did. Massive damage to the 7.
Yeah, Murphy's going to find himself one lap down again. I mean, he only really loses one spot.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but
luckily there's only 12 on the lead lap. But this definitely helps Belanger, Shad. It definitely opens the door for him a little bit more with only a handful of laps. We'll go back green with, what, 3 to go, I think?
Yeah, basically be a green-white checkered. And you've seen the fresh tires, Kurt. They were not that good. You know, they were only about a half a hundredth faster. So
freshest tires got up to 6th, so they still got some ways to go to get up here.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Nick Allen was 7th, so he only, I think, got one spot.
Yeah, Jose is 6th, and he's got
So
fresh
no,
tires.
he didn't. Jose's got fresh tires?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
Jose, Nick,
fresh tires only moved up one spot closer because they were 7th.
yeah. Well, I was thinking about talking to somebody here, but with it being closing laps, we'll let him be here. But Tyler being the 88, Chad, if he needs a win, he needs it now. This would definitely put a stamp on him as moving on to the next round if he can get the win. Murphy, though, I think has to be really watching where he finishes.
Murphy was in front of Wesley Jeanette before this race started. He gained 9 points on Wesley with the stage. If it finished right now,
He
Wesley
was 3
would only
points
gain
in front of Wesley.
Yeah, and then he gained 9 on him during the stage.
And he was 5 up over Cole Martin.
And he gained 5 on him during the stage. So, you know, right now Cole would gain 9 and Wesley would gain 7. So, to me,
It's close.
yeah, I think Chris is still good where he's at. Obviously, it's not ideal. Obviously, if he was on the lead lap, then maybe he could gain a couple more spots and for sure make it in. But
well, this race ain't over yet either. We don't know if that was the last caution, so Chris has got to stay out of it.
I mean, elbows are going to be up, and dive bombs are about to happen for sure because Cole Martin, West Jeanette, Jose Ruiz, they don't know if they're in, so they need to gain as many spots as they can, and I don't put it past any of them making some crazy move trying to gain some positions and another caution coming out because of it.
Yeah, and the good thing for Tyler is he's got Sammy Harrell and Sean Walton in front of the 31 and the 74, so he's got a little bit of a buffer there, and Jose Ruiz is right there too on fresh tires, so it's going to be close here as these guys come through, or actually he's in 6th, so it's going to be close as these guys come through, and if Jose can somehow on those fresh tires get up and get by Cole Martin and Sean Walton, that only helps Tyler Belanger even more. We're coming through 3 and 4, hopefully for the last time here. Pace car going to duck on down pit road. We'll come into the restart zone with Tyler Belanger and Sammy Harrell in the 43 and the 88 there. Shad, let's rock and roll. Green flag in the air as we come into the green. Green flag waving. Back to green flag racing. Tyler Belanger gets a good launch. 10 does not. 43 gets a good launch.
At 43, Sammy Harrell going to be able to hang on to second place. Cole Martin sitting in 3rd, though. How much does he push it? I think 3rd place right now gets him into the next round, but he is all over that bumper of Sammy Harrell and trying to get that car up there. Big push from the 10 to the 23 sends Jose Ruiz up to the high side. Sean Walton trying to make an effect on these playoffs as well. I don't know if I would do that. You don't make many friends shoving guys who are battling for the playoffs like that, but
No, he ain't in the playoffs, so he ain't got nothing to lose.
nah, but he ain't making friends for next season, that's for sure, doing something like that. But able to hang on to it is Jose Ruiz. But Kurt, 1 lap to go. Who's gonna win?
Yeah, we're on the final lap, and Tyler Belanger's coming out of turn 3 and 4 the last time. coming to the checker flag. And it will be Tyler Belanger winning at Charlotte Motor Speedway with Sammy Harrell finishing second.
Oh, Martin getting third, Kurt. That should lock him into the next round, I believe.
And Chris Murphy finishes 12th. Jose Ruiz 4th. Wesley Jeanette 7th. That's your playoff drivers. Ryan Crooks 11th. So Ryan didn't really play into this one as he had a far enough lead in the points. But Tyler Belanger winning, Shad. I think that's that's a final decision of I need to win or go home, because if he didn't win, I think he was out. Top 3 is going to be Tyler Belanger, Sammy Harrell, and Cole Martin coming up into the booth here after Tyler Belanger burns him down in that 88 UPS machine.
I think this will move Tyler B to the next round, I believe.
Yep. We will be right back after this burnout from Tyler Belanger.
I'm messaging him.
All right, we're back here for Velocity Motorsports. Victory Lane, top 3 coming into the booth. Tyler Belanger coming away with the win tonight and locks himself into the next round, which is the final race of the season for the championship. Final 4 being decided. Tyler trying to figure out the math right now on who made it. But Tyler, an incredible race for you. You come away in the stage pretty good in the top 5. You get some bonus points there. All race, you pretty much sounded like you were not going to be able to make it. Especially pre-race, when I was talking to you, it didn't sound like you really thought you had a chance, even though I kept telling you still have a shot. You get those bonus points in the stage, you come away. Now with the win, you definitely locked yourself in. How does it feel to get that win? I think this is your first win of the season, actually, and no better time for it. Win or go home is what you just did. So now we're going to the championship round. So how does the car feel? How does the win feel? And what's your expectations for next round?
Oh man, it feels amazing. I definitely do think it was pretty much a win and go home for me, which I did not think was possible going into tonight's race. The stage worked out really good for me, getting I think it was 6 stage points or 7 stage points or something, saving fuel. That worked out really well. And then took a pee break during that caution break, so I went all the way to the back of the field and just worked my way back up there. The key move was when we pit and the top 3 stayed out, we really didn't start gaining until like 6 or 7 laps in, and caution came out at that time. So it was a pretty easy decision for me to stay out at that point because I figured those 3 were going to jump down pits. I know Osborne, you had up in the booth and said he was going to, so I assumed they all would. And I just couldn't give up that track position at that point of the race. I know I needed to finish in the top 3 to have any shot points-wise, and decided to stay out. And then that caution came out, which gave us a green-white checker attempt there. If that caution doesn't come out, I don't know if I win. Sammy was catching back up to me, and he had Martin right on him. I know Martin was desperate for every point he could get as well. But, man, I got to listen to you guys a little more because I came into this one not having high expectations, and this feels amazing. It's almost as good as beating Tyler Dohar at Pocono in round 1 last season.
Well, I think you should listen to us. I think we've been pretty good. I don't know if this was my pick because I didn't really make a pick, but I kept telling you had a chance. So definitely maybe listen to the broadcast a little bit more. But Chad, got anything for this 88 that walks away out of this race with locking himself in?
You can never count anyone out. You got good stage points. That was huge. I said at the beginning of the broadcast, I think if you come away with a top 5 in the stage, top 5 at the end of the night, you're going to probably be moving on. You and Cole both achieved that. And, you get your first win of the season. You waited last season, late in the season, to get your first win. Now, we change gears to a completely different track, a track that Cup cars don't even run on. We go to the small little tri-oval of Iowa. I don't even think I've ran next gens on Iowa, but how do you think it's going to go? And, what do you got being in one of the final 4 guys? What do you got for your chances on maybe, walking away with a big old trophy?
Well, I would love to tell you how I think it's going to go, but I honestly have no idea because going into tonight, I didn't have high expectations, and we're walking away with our second win in the Cup Series in 2 seasons. So honestly, I don't know. I don't even know who the final 4 are right now. I got to go add the stage points and see who I'm battling against. But as I said, going into this round, I really felt like I was a 6th to 8th place driver. So being able to put this performance on and hopefully make it into the championship 4 like I think I did. I'll be curious to see who my competition is, but any one of those other 7 guys, they're going to be extremely hard to beat. They are very, very good drivers. So we're just going to do our best and go into the championship race and hopefully pull something out of our butt.
You got obviously a troll out there in the chat, but apparently it's Clown Day. But give us your shout outs and I guess anything else you got for the league.
Definitely a shout out to you guys up in the booth. I know with playoff numbers always dwindling, it can be hard to stay upbeat and positive, but you guys have done a great job up there, so I appreciate you and appreciate all the drivers that are still racing that aren't in the playoff mix. I always really appreciate them. That's the hardest thing, is keeping guys in it when they don't feel like they have much to race for. So just shout out to everybody in the league who showed up tonight, and whoever's going to be there next week. Excited for Season 3, which will be around the corner, and we're going to go hit her hard next week.
All right, well, that is our winner tonight, and that is Tyler Belanger. We'll bring up second place finisher, Sammy Harrell. If he is back in the chat, I don't see him. It looks like we'll move on to third place finisher, and that is going to be Cole Martin. And Cole, I think you are, in my mind, I think you're locked in to the next round here, as it looked like it was kind of floating all over the place as far as points. But this race was crazy. You started on the front row. You led a lot of laps there before the stage. The cautions started coming out a little bit there. I think we only had 5 incident cautions, but you went to the back. You start coming back up through the field. Finished, I think, 5th in the stage, which helps you stay close to Tyler, as I think he finished 4th. So just give us, I guess, an outlook of how this race went for you and how challenging it was to stay up here in the top 3.
Yeah, it was a crazy race for me. I wasn't expecting it to be crazy, but it was there at the end. So yeah, at first I thought I was probably a top 3 car. Thought I saved my stuff pretty good and felt like I called a decent race. I didn't realize how close fuel was for people that like came in and topped off. So I just came in and pitted, and I was just hoping they run out. And some of them pitted, but I'll take 5th, I guess, in that stage. And I think then I was a couple points above Wesley and Jose, and I don't know. I think Murphy is still ahead of me there. So yeah, I think I was like barely in there. So I have no idea what happened there at the end with points, but yeah, the end was crazy. I was just hoping just to finish it off, just don't get wrecked or lose it off a floor or anything. Nothing stupid to happen. And yeah, I'm happy with the 3rd place finish, and hopefully I got in on points.
I'm gonna ask this question real quick because somebody out in chat seems to think that there's something funny, but do you feel like there was anything going on tonight with the 43 that he was holding you up on purpose? Just to put an answer to that.
I don't believe so. I think he was pretty fast. He was running the top 5 most of the night. I think he was saving tire really good too. So no, I don't think he was holding it up. I think he's just hard to pass on this track. I mean, I think it's 2 lanes, and you just gotta sometimes shift down in the 4th gear to pass, and sometimes it don't work. You get tight. But no, I don't think he was holding us up. I think this restarting on the inside was very tricky tonight. Like Ryan Crooks did on the first start of the race. He spun his tires and about wrecked, but he saved it, thank God. But yeah, I mean, it's just really hard starting on the bottom. I don't really think he was holding us up, but I don't know, to be honest.
That sounds like a little bit of an answer to me, to the troll out there. So, but Shad, you got any questions for the 31?
Well, I'm sitting here and looking at the points. And of course, the stage points have to be added. But we got Ryan Crooks, obviously in. Jovi Ray didn't get any stage points, sitting at 2095. Tyler Belanger then sitting at 2094 plus stage points, so he's in. Cole Martin, you're sitting at 2091 plus stage points. You jumped Jovi Ray as well, so I believe you're in. Then we go back to Wesley Jeanette sitting at 290, only got 1 stage point, so he is out because Chris Murphy's sitting at 2088 plus 10 stage points, going to put him at 2098, and I believe Ryan Crooks, Tyler B, Cole Martin, and Chris Murphy are going to be our top 4 battling for the championship. If my math is right, Cole, I think you're moving on, going to have a shot at the championship at Iowa. Any chances that you have done any testing or ran any races with the next gen at the short track of Iowa?
Unfortunately, I have not. I really dislike that track. Me and Iowa don't get along very well. I don't know. I don't understand the track, to be honest. I don't know how to save tire there and other cars. I just don't know how to run fast there. I've never ran next gen there, so hopefully it's a lot different than the trucks or Xfinity or anything else, because I hate it with those cars. So yeah, hopefully it's different and I can save tire and just run a good race good enough to win that championship.
Well, that's going to be our top 3, first and third, as we don't have second place in here. But Cole, any shout outs for you? You got Death Wish Coffee Machine that came home 3rd tonight and hopefully made it into the top 4 in the next round.
Yeah, shout out to this paint scheme. I don't know who the heck made it, but it's nice looking. So
I would agree.
Yeah, I made my in another league. I made my truck like this scheme on the truck. So it looks very good, and I like to thank Nathan Mon, Nick, Jovi, Logan.
You better thank Nate, because without him being here, I don't know if you're in.
Yeah, Nate. I wish Nate was here, but at the same time, kind of glad he's not. But yeah, I'd like to thank him and this Tyler let me come and join this league this season. It's been really fun. It's my first next gen league. This is like my first time running the next gens for a whole league, so had fun learning and trying to get a hold of these cars. And I'd like to thank him just for a great league, keeping it up, and yeah, producing great product on the track.
Of Well, I definitely appreciated you coming in. I knew when I saw your name popping in just after, I think there was a race after everybody else started coming in between Ryan Crooks and those guys and Jovi and all that came in. As soon as I seen you coming in, I was like, oh, this is going to stack the field even more. So, I mean, to make it into the playoffs with missing, I think, the first 3 or 4 races of the season, and then to make it into the Final Four is definitely a testament to how much skill you have on the track. So I would definitely enjoy seeing you back for another season if we continue on for season 3. I'm hoping we do, because it's been some of the best racing I've seen in a long time with a lot of different drivers from everybody that's been on track so far this season and all the different teams. Even the one that the Troll's out there on, his team still contended. Wesley Jeanette was so close into making the playoffs too. So, but congratulations on 3rd place. Congratulations to you and Tyler for making it to the next round, and congratulations to Ryan and Chris Murphy if that's who the 4 are.
I appreciate it.
I do have the official points list if you want to go over it too.
Go ahead.
To you guys. All right, so Ryan Crooks is the first one to make it into the Final Four with 2,125. Myself in second with 2,100. Murphy in third with 2,098, and Cole Martin in fourth with 2,096. Jovi Ray missed out by 1 point, and Ruiz missed out by 2. And then Wesley Jeanette and Nathan Mon, 7th and 8th.
I knew it was going to be close.
Oh, it's extremely close. If I hadn't gotten the win there, I actually would not have been in. I would have been 2,095. So I would have been out by a point. And, well, depending on where Jovi and I finished, maybe I would have gotten him on best finish for the round. But it would have been extremely close.
There you have it.
And I can attest to Sammy Harrell. I don't know. I'm not in the stream to know who's trolling. That's Sammy Harrell. I've raced with that dude for a long time, and I can promise you right now, there was nothing funny about anything he was doing. So, y'all can talk all you want to talk. Come up here and back it up. Otherwise, shut your mouth.
That's how I feel too. If you don't like it, come out on the track.
Yep.
Considering I don't think that person's been in the top 3. I don't think ever. But,
I honestly don't know who it is, but I have a slight suspicion. So, you ain't out there, I don't want to hear it.
But, anyways, that'll wrap it up for tonight. Shad, we're going into Iowa Championship race next week. I'm not a big fan of Iowa. I know you sort of like it. I think it's going to be a difficult track. I think this car on that track is going to be difficult. But, I mean, that puts it in the driver's hands. You got to figure it out. You got to put the time in. You got to put the practice in. You got to go out there and do what you got to do to make it into the championship. I mean, we went to Phoenix last season, and Johnny D out of Field Motorsports came away with the win for his first win of the season at the end of the season. And Murphy and the other 3 had to battle it out for position, and Murphy came away with 2nd place to get that trophy that he got. He's going to go into the next race here battling for 2nd straight championship. So I think the 4 that made it in, I think 4 are very, very good. I think Wesley Jeanette was another one that I would have loved to see get into the Final 4. If we had 5 spots, I think I'd have liked to see Wesley get in there, Jose, Jovi. I mean, the whole top 8 was stacked. So just a testament to these guys and their skill and time they put in to do this. And B. Landry to come away with the win after basically saying he wasn't going to be very good at all tonight. So who do you got, Shad, if you're looking at Iowa out of the top 4 that remain? Who's your pick this week? And we'll see if it changes for next week.
I don't have one because I honestly have never ran, and by the sounds of it, none of the top 4 have ran next gen at Iowa. It's hard to compare the track. I mean, it's kind of like a Richmond, but even smaller, and it's, as far as I know, it's looser because of the trucks and Xfinity. When you run in Iowa, it's really loose coming off the turns. So I would think the next gens are really loose coming off of Richmond's turns. So I would think Iowa would be the same. So it's hard to judge, but I know Iowa, you can run the bottom or you can run the top. Top's a little bumpy, but you can carry a lot of speed up there. But picking this week, I don't know. I probably won't even know next week who to pick out of the 4 because literally anything can happen, and it's straight up. It doesn't matter where you finish in the stage. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is where you finish at the end. And one of these drivers in the top 4 could finish 8th and win the championship if the other 3 have a bad night. So It's kind of a big question mark going into next week. Iowa's not really a championship race that you see picked in really any leagues, so it's cool to see it. And these guys are going to have to battle it out, and I can't emphasize enough for how much the stage has really meant something. Definitely this round has, we got 4 drivers, 3 drivers that did not make it, and Weston Net was 7th and only missed it by 5 points. So it's just a couple points here or there, and he's in. And if the strategy would have been played a little better tonight, Wesley might have got better stage points and made it in tonight. But just unfortunate that he wasn't able to get it done tonight. But our 4 are very strong, and I can't wait for next week. It's going to be interesting to see who can figure out the short track of Iowa the quickest, and who comes away with the big trophy at the end of the season.
Well, that's going to wrap it for tonight. We'll see what comes away next week in Iowa. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to come down to who can survive and get away from some others, and it'll come down to the best finishing position. It won't come down to points. Points will not matter. Some stages really don't matter. It'll just basically come down to a finishing position, I believe. So we'll see what happens. But appreciate everybody out there, including the trolls out there, still out here watching, even though you're not here. So appreciate you putting the view on there. But we'll see what happens next week.